Eternus been mentioning the Khalids. The Philippines decides to default and pick the safest EX billionaire that you can get in this scenario, providing the physical damage. It's the Terizla.
And if I may say, gives a better ult to the Valentina.
Yep.
With a flicker and a dash, she could put that penalty zone wherever she may please.
This is spicy. What do you guys think about the drafts?
I like the journey that we gone through with the draft. More than the product, more than the ending itself, I'll tell you that. But I think Team Philippines will be the aggressor.
Here's the best of three grand final. Will it be the Philippines to draw first blood, or will it be Malaysia to set the pace in the series?
And it's already a bit different here, right? Best of three means that game one momentum is so important.
Yeah.
If you get a game one in the best of five, say you could say, all right, we're experimenting in game one. We're trying to warm up, but in a best of three, you need all the points you can get, man. 2-0 and it's done.
The pressure is on, and also you have to take a look at, once again, the lineups like our panel broke it down for us. The mainstay is the fact that this time around, last series we didn't see too much Revitalize action, but there's two here across the board, one for each team on both sides. Of course, Gomez with the Gataconcha, and then you have Gojes running that Hylos. The Revitalizes change the course and the pace of a lot of team fights, especially when we're talking about early objectives, how things get set up, because, the main thing, too, is when you throw in a Valentina in the wrench, right? The Valentina there, you're going to be looking at, okay, what ultimates play a part in the role from start to finish of the game? And a lot of the times, I like that Renmar mentioned this out. You have this Terizla now across from you that the Philippines decided to draft. That's another plus initiation that you have if Stormy decides, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and take that penalty zone, and I'm going to use the flicker to set things up, and then you can cut people off or set things up too with just having an Iesf for Yubes.
On top of the fact that Valentina is a comfort pick for Stormy, it's one of his favorite picks. If not, it is actually his favorite pick. It's great against the Nolan. If you have dashes in your kit, getting out of the fracture stacks is just so easy. And that's why for Saison, it's going to be really, really tough to actually catch this Valentina. My question is, who's the real target for the Nolan right now, right?
Yeah.
Because for Gojes on the Hylos, I don't think he's the right target to go for either. I think Alpha, when he gets CC, probably, but there's already a skirmish up top. Level 4 for Fernandez first.
I guess the right target for right now is to go ahead and just focus on this turtle. Both teams, though, going to kind of take their time. Again, these level 4s are very crucial for both the teams on how they win these team fights early on. Gomez nearly there. Going to charge up the Unbreakable. Penalty zone already used, though. Not sure, do they commit?
Great dodge from Yums with the onward to escape from the penalty zone, baiting out the flicker too. So two big resources used up. Stormy gonna be caught at the taunt, and the reaction flickers out to safety, just barely. Sky's on it. Great glorious pathway and a stun from Gojes. Amazing zoning from Gojes, and that's Turtle 1 for Malaysia.
Great zoning, a great response. I mean, they burned the flicker from Stormy, right? But ultimately, it was all part of the plan for Malaysia. They go ahead and using that glorious pathway, that's what I was talking about earlier, between the Iesf and having the Hylos. There's so many options for you to go ahead and either sandwich play, cut people off from actually entering that objective zone, and that's what we saw exactly happen. Again, Revitalize wasn't even needed, and so it's the disciplined, clean approach for that first turtle. Philippines, once again, it's nothing too crazy. You're only looking at a couple hundred gold difference, so then you have to start to look at where are the plays going to be made with these diversions.
There you go, onto Yums, but still a bit too tanky. Just gets up with the onward and recalls away. And really, man, we've seen that Malaysia, they've been able to hold out. This is a really good job by Gomez, trying to stagger that recall timing so they have more pressure, more tempo to put on the map. Skies, no, he won't go for it.
Yeah, he's not going to go for that. Again, we've been seeing this pick so much. See a little damage check there from Saison. Stormy's going to be fine, but the Alpha, man, I don't know how many times, I'm sure our panel knows, like, how many times this Alpha has been first picked on the blue side.
Yeah.
It's picked up so often. I guess so far, at least through these stages, we've seen, even the surprise Hilda pick up. Oh, Gojes, he's fine. He's got the Revitalize, he's got the Glorious Pathway. But, again, Alpha is such a big pickup, so much value for any team draft, really. Like, he fits in so many different kind of combinations for what they want to go with, and it's kind of hard to kill, too, especially when you have such a front line that protects you. My biggest thing, too, is we saw the Lunox, what was that, just yesterday, parked in the mid lane. Yep. It was okay, but I think it was just not part of the game plan. This time around that it's in the gold lane for Lolio, it's a little bit different on how this plays a part. Do you think he has enough time? Again, it's a matchup between Lunox and Harith to shine later mid-game.
It's going to be really tough, I feel, for the Harith. Around the first few neutral objectives, Lunox, hold up, penalty zone. We're on a go, just still a lot of damage. Plays off from Fernandez. Forced to use the flicker. Yums are doing the primal rat. Torres in the back now, popping his on force. That's going to be the AOG, but Yums flickers out of it. Saison unable to go for the retry. Yums almost surviving, but Torres claims first blood. It is a 4th minute first blood. Turtle number 2, however, going to Malaysia.
Man, I'm surprised. You know, Stormy held on to that penalty zone. He didn't use it. He had the flicker available too. They might have been, oh, there it is. As I say it, jumps in. I don't think he can get anything, but enough to go ahead and pop a little bit of damage off. But that last exchange, what we're seeing here, Mirko, is just Malaysia playing that disciplined route. They go for these objectives. They secure 2 turtles now. They don't have to force a fight if they don't want to. A lot of it is just, again, surviving that initial initiation or aggression from the Philippines, like, you know, we heard mentioned, especially with the composition, but they don't have to get the kills. They don't have to do any of that.
See, pathway, Gomez trying to go for the tanky, soaking that damage as much as possible, but the yin-yang reaction was enough to just zone them away from that turret. An easy take for Loliel down below in this winning matchup, Lunox versus Harith.
See what I mean? Like, it's mostly just we're not going for kills. We're just getting objectives. We're just getting turrets and turtles, and it's going to build us this small lead slowly but surely, and that's what they're looking at because, you know, the first items are coming in and being locked in, and those small little wins across the map is exactly what we know wins games. A diversion into this side of the map, we'll see how it's going to be responded. Again, Philippines looking for their own possible setup, and we've seen teams kind of struggle with this in a way. Like, how do we counterplay into this Luo Yi? How do we counter the diversions in our side of the jungle if we have to? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but right now, Stormy's still choosing to hold on to the penalty zone to actually have a response if maybe Yums catches someone or they find their own setup potential. But this is now the 3rd turtle coming up in about 10 seconds. We'll see if Philippines actually wants to contest, if they're in a position to win a team fight, win objective, but they know Gojez is there. Gomez still not quite, you know, tanky enough to actually just front side. He's got to rely on Fernandez too.
Yep.
So it's up. They're going to square each other off. Trying to find this. I feel like this is the trouble with a Nolan against an Alpha. You got to find it here.
Penalty zone from Fernandez over the skies right now. You can see the damage coming down. Saison able to get the retribution as he dashes forward. Yin-yang reaction over to Yums. Fernandez will be the sacrifice for the neutral objective. 1-1.
It's a great way to put it. You know, I was wondering if they wanted to contest that last turtle of the game, and they do. They send in Fernandez, his body for the turtle. Gomez will take a couple shots. They're trying to hold down this mid-tier 1. He's tanky enough now, has the passive as well from the Gatakachi. He's going to be fine, goes back to base, but ultimately I would say, you know, Philippines is happy with that. At least they go ahead and get the objective, the turtle. And if you're noticing, right, they're still playing on the macro level. Despite how clean and I would say low kill this game has been so far, it's pretty much even in terms of economy. You know, they're just trying to hold on to the space when it comes to these turrets.
It's all about reaching their item power spikes in the mid game for the control later on. And honestly, if we talk about the late game, right, in terms of damage output and in terms of creativity, I think creativity, I'll have to give it over towards the Philippines with the low E. They're going to have a lot of different angles of attack. They also have a Nolan that can constantly just look for trades across the map. Macro advantage definitely seems to be Philippines, the Filipino advantage here as we get into the late stage. But if it comes to damage output, they got a Lunox. Yeah. They got an Edith as well with a Primal Wrath. And honestly, Skies who can shred down the Gatakachi, shred down even the Terizla here. Frontliners going to have a tough time. So, I don't know. So far, very 50-50. Like you said, gold lead is non-existent at this point. Both of them are just farming. Both of them are just waiting for the next neutral objective. And it'll come down to those creative little angles from Galantes. If he can find the perfect diversion to maybe get a possible flank to take down Stormy or Loliel before the fight, that's the win angle.
And I think that's why when we look at this kind of game, when you're in this kind of pacing, because again, if you guys have been watching us through the live streams, like this is a very different pacing, right? It's much slower than what we've seen in the past games. And part of that, again, is, yes, the creativity that can come from the Philippines. And that's why I think Malaysia, their draft was so good, because there's so many answers to that creativity that is going to be shown from the Philippines. This time around, though, Malaysia will start up the objective again. About half health here. I'm not sure if they fully commit to this. Buffs are up, too. They could choose to go ahead and focus on those. Saison gets the read. Took the orange on the other side just by himself. Still, no team actually committing to it just yet. It's still holding. Sakai's holding it at half. A turret does go down. There's a push, though.
Blur's pathway, gorgeous, great targeting. Into the back, he goes down with the AOG, locking Skies down. Saison doesn't get it. It's going to be Skies who wins out the retreat battle. Fernandez with the flanker, but Yomes will chase him down with the primal wrath. One last shot is all he needs, but Galantes is there to peel him away. It is 1 kill over to Malaysia and a big Lord too.
A big objective locked in and secured for Malaysia. Surprisingly, again, that passive, the body of Smith for that Terizla, keeping Fernandez alive. And I'm surprised, again, that Primal Wrath wasn't enough from Yumes, even with a Warcry emblem, But unfortunately, no one goes down there. For Malaysia, they can play into this Lord. It's going to be pushing in the mid. They're looking to just, at this point, get some more turrets. That top one on the tier 1 will go down. Opens that up. Their main job here, because of this clear, is hopefully they get some tier 2s. I don't think they're going to be knocking on this Holy Shields. Philippines should be able to go ahead and maintain that. Gojez, though, will go in for that cutoff, trying to keep them from pressing on forward, but the tier 2 mid will go down. And maybe this is, again, at that point where you're looking at the power spikes. Is it there? Stormy grabs the Avatar, the Guardian ultimate. Look at the push happening.
Wow.
Saison goes in, gets his own tier 2. And mind you, this is what happens, Miracle. We've seen this so many times. Oh, hold on. Are they going to go for their own sandwich play?
AOG, they know they're kind of split up right now. Diversion as well going to be utilized. Saison able to cut off Skies from the rest of the team.
Oh, he
forced the Spear of Alpha. Now is asking the Purify coming down with also Lolio jumping with the Chaos. Fernandez putting the hammer down. Torres still able to kite away. That's a brilliant. Saison going to be caught now. Stunned up by Gorgeous and taken down by Stormy. Fernandez on the run. That's Skies with the Spear of Alpha on the chase for the Filipino team. Torres gets splashed in the bush. Stormy gets the double. An amazing read from Malaysia.
Man, Stormy's been holding on that flicker for the majority of the game, but that one he knew. He's here, I'm grabbing that kill. Stormy, we talked about the Valentina for him, and right now he is locked in 3-0-1. They're going to go for the mid turret.
Let's see if they can clear it out. They still have Fernandez on to Terizla. Oh, a ton over to Sky. Spear of Alpha defensive with penalty zone onto 3 from Fernandez. Locking him down with the AOG. Stormy knocked up again. A diversion off angle to the side. Galantes spotted. Gorgeous will be the one to be sacrificed here. Let's see. Oh, none of the shots connecting. Gorgeous still able to survive. One last shot should do it. And the glowing wand will burn him down.
Man, Philippines, they had to work for that, though. They had to turn that around some way. But Malaysia has been just winning these fights. And really, it's the lineup that's working in their favor here. Again, going back before on that broken, Saison, he pushed that tier 2 turret. He got it down, able to get something out of it. And this is always something you have to watch out for when a Nolan is picked up. They like to just go ahead and push. Again, they're going to go ahead and just get in position using that diversion. They know this Lord is up in less than 10. And so the Philippines will go ahead and play around the fact that, again, they have that space towards that bottom side. And this is where we have to see here, too. Again, this Lunox picks this Loliel here. Does he have enough damage to go actually and shred someone down? This is very difficult for Philippines, too, the way they approach these fights. Because of the fact you just have a very tanky front line. Look at the angle on the backside.
With a conceal, Yomes able to find onward, forcing to purify out. Now Torres dashing away with him on force. One last shot, Lolio finding the fadeaway. Gomez trying to save the rest of the team right now. The Spear of Alpha will hit him, and Stormy just eliminates him, takes the kill away. 2 members picked off away from Team Philippines. A diversion already being hovered over. Let's see where they go. They try to go for a steal. A desperate steal attempt now. Saison in the bottom lane. Bush again. Spear of Alpha on top of the Earth Shatter. Fernandez taken down. That's 3 members down. Yums will go for the check on the Bush. Yums unable to go for Saison, but it's all just about the escape for him right now. It's about to fracture, and Gorgeous zones him away. There was even a penalty zone from Stormy.
A good attempt at trying to go, hey, you know what, we don't have any other option. Might as well put Saison in the bush to try to get a steal. But man, Malaysia, their game sense, they know this. They go and spot it out with Yumes and even forcing out that retribution to survive. So again, great play there from Malaysia. Great usage of everything, all the tools that they have to win these little fights, these decisive fights, and turn things in their favor. So now, again, they march in with the Lord here, looking to take these base turrets down. Saison's going to go ahead and push that tier 2 on the top. And they always have to maintain this because we've seen this time and time again where a Nolan from different teams is picked up and he's pushing into the base now. So they're going to have to go for a 4-man defense against this Lord push from Malaysia. Is he going for the end? No, Stormy's there.
There's kind of many Yumps, goes in for the flicker as well. Stormy has recalled Loliel. Go over the combo in the back. Torres is still able to survive. Winter Crown coming down. Loliel going to be taken down by Fernandez. Penalty zone from Fernandez into the AOT for Gomez. Still, the enhanced Lord is up, but Torres is right there. Skies won't be able to take them down. And Team Philippines somehow, some way, they defend against Malaysia.
Somehow, some way, the combination of the ultimates and it just well-timed. Again, a distraction. I mean, how many diversions do they have? They have the one from Louis and then they have Saison. And this is what I was talking about earlier with the Nolan, man. They're going to put him in one of the lanes, force a response from Malaysia, and they just turned what should have been a dire situation, possibly game-ending, to now they're running down mid to get turrets. Talk about IQ in the game. And now Philippines, what more do they get from this turnaround?
The fact that they got a base turret up top with Saison on the Nolan. We were talking about this, Naisu, right? As we get into the later stage of the game, this Nolan is going to be a big threat in the side lanes. And we saw that and convinced, I mean, this is just crazy. The fact that they got the base turret was already good, but it's the base turret in the far lane. Far lane away from the next neutral objective. It's going to be really tough now for Malaysia to handle that. The fact that Philippines still have more macro control because they have a diversion, and on top of that, they have a Nolan, and they have to just deal with the far lane somehow, because it's very possible that we see a split push from Team Philippines up top.
You have to remember, this is such a weird situation to be in where, again, you were controlling, if you're Malaysia, you're controlling that pace, you're knocking on the base turrets, you got 2 of them down from the Philippines. But because of the mere fact that, again, you're playing against the diversion, and they could easily just, if they wanted to ignore the next Lord coming up here, send Saison somewhere to push the map, they can completely do that if they want to. Not to mention there can be fake out diversions too. That's all part of the creativity that we mentioned earlier on. So Malaysia finds themselves in a precarious situation approaching this next objective.
The good thing about this Lunox pick from Malaysia is they might not even need to care about the side lane control. They have a Lunox together with an Alpha, so you can actually burst down the Lord real quick, right? That should be the angle of attack for Malaysia right now. They actually are holding onto the Lord. This is an enhanced Lord, not an evolved Lord just yet. We are not the 18th minute of the game. But it does seem like for Team Philippines, they're the ones sending Boyi up top. This is it.
Luis there, handling the wave. A fourth of the health on the Lord here. Saison go!
Saison with the assassination. Loliel goes boom! In the back now, it's going to be an all-out fight, and Skies wins out the Stormy battle. Saison with the immortality by a Storm is going to be very low. Torres takes him down. Still, Calteezy taken out by Skies. Pops him in a crown as the AOG comes around as well. A great immortality buy from Skies right now. That's going to be Torres jumping in. Skies, Spear of Alpha, but Torres gets the double. Malaysia win the neutral objective, but Philippines win the fight.
They win the fight. They're starting to slowly but surely turn things in their favor. Yes, you get the Lord. You're able to buy some more time. You need that time for the 3 members of Malaysia to come back up. But Philippines will go ahead and clear this out relatively quickly, utilizing their ultimates and everything else to clear things and push into these base turrets if they can. Saison, decisive assassination at the bottom there before that Lord take. And again, you're playing around the fact, look at the range here. You're getting a preview of the range on that diversion, obviously maxed at this point. And it's relatively close still. This game is so close. It's still a 50-50. And this is where you start to see the brain work of both the teams.
Ridiculous
right?
stuff.
The way that they play the macro level, and at the highest level, mind you, is what is going to separate this game, number 1. Remember, it's a best of 3, man. So all this, again, diversion going to be used. They're looking for their own setup here behind enemy territory. Gojez, though.
Taunt comes in. Could have enough damage. A burst. Gojez down. Oh my god, they do! Even with the revitalize, Gojez gets taken out.
That's a little bit too much damage. Big damn coming out from Philippines, and now knowing their numbers advantage in their favor, they'll handle those waves. They still gonna handle the top 2. This might be an opportunity where they're able to get closer to the base, but because of the way that, again, this lineup is from Malaysia, they need to go ahead and do that a couple times, or even just win the next Lord. They're in a relatively good position, though, if they keep pressure here on this side of the map, to have that advantage when it comes to the Lord. Because remember, even if they feign the Lord take in less than a minute, they can always send someone on that top side to push in, and that's something that Malaysia has to look out for. Whoa!
Loliel almost getting the kill back again. Penalty zone though locks him down. Gomez going for the taunt, and again Loliel will be caught. Great recovery from Stormy. Does he have the flicker to go for the chase on the Saison? He has the flicker, but Saison buys the immortality just right in time. It's going to be a chase from Stormy. Torres walking back again to win a crown bot from Saison as Stormy walks up again. It'll be a kill on the other side. Fernandez taken out. Gomez buys the winner crown, uses it in time, pops in to revitalize, but it's not enough to keep him alive. Torres has to be very careful. 20 seconds on the clock for an evolved Lord.
Oh, a little messy there from Philippines. They had to respond to that, and they're going to have to go back to base. And this could also mean that that Lord goes in the hands of Malaysia, so they're going to have to pull something creative off again. They still have Torres, they still have Saison. Timers-wise, Galantas will be back up too, so they can still play again with this diversion. Loliel did so much damage though. Uh-oh, once again, he's going to have to clear this out. Lord's going to be started up. How do they approach this? Look at the positioning. Pay attention to where Philippines goes across the map. Torres given all the information on what's going on here with this Lord. It's going to swing back around. There's the diversion.
Diversion into the bush. Galantas will take it. Skies wins out the retry, takes it for the team. Saison in the back line, trying to go for the assassination. Great brilliance timing. Stormy able to get him. Terrified for Gorgeous to stun.
Those micro decisions, man. Every single time throughout this game. I mean, we're 21 minutes in, but those small moments, even with Loliel using the brilliance to survive that burst, helps them stay in this a little bit longer. So once again, they'll push in with a pretty beefed up Lord this time around. This is going to be quite the fancy footwork that Philippines has to pull off to stay in this game. Fernandez also picking up the Athena shield. They know they're being overloaded with magic damage right now as Malaysia walks in with this Lord. Saison still 15 seconds away. Can Philippines defend this with 4?
It's going to be very tough. Glorious pathway in the back line. Fernandez trying to go for the front line as well. Skies bursts it down. There's Gomez jumps in as well. It's going to be the immortality buy from Skies. Is that the penalty someone used up earlier? Winner crown used up. Gomez, AOG to the back, unable to find anyone. That's Torres falling down. Galantas is next. Stormy has a killing spree, and Malaysia claims match point in the grand finals.